right in here between that tree and that tree right there. It'd be a nice spot to set up my hammock. I'm going to show you something pretty cool with our expanding work we're doing with the ultralight type stuff. Alright, so this is my Realtree Extra Ultralite Poncho. I'm going to set this up as my hammock. This is our tarp kit for ponchos here. That's our regular kit. This little guy right here, look at that. This one right here is our new Ultralite Tarp Kit for ponchos. That's 3 ounces, and the standard kit is 11 ounces. I brought along my hammock kit for ponchos, and that loop is going to go around the tree. Alright, so here is my Realtree Extra Ultralite Poncho. Here's my poncho set up like, you know, just wearing it. And then I can change it into a tarp, or I can make it into a hammock. In the back of the poncho there's this tube, this sleeve, that you drop your cord or whatever through. Now with the hammock kit I got here, I'm going to use these, just a little 10-inch Dyneema runner is all I need. All I'm doing is just gathering, easy to do on these ultralight and the regular ponchos. So there we go. So now that's what I'm going to hook my Dyneema shuttle sling to. I just shove those loops up there. This is the spike that comes with it. It doubles as a tent stake. And since this thing can also be a shelter, it's nice to have something like that. Then to tension it up, you just grab a hold of this one, pull it up, just let it go on up there. And everybody always wants to know, what do I do with the hood when I turn it into a hammock? Grab the drawstring for the hood, pull it up like that. Now I just turn the hood into a pocket. Alright, so now I've got my poncho set up as a hammock. Ultralite, it's our Ultralite series ponchos. Realtree Extra 1.130 fabric and sil nylon. Very nice stuff. And so I'm good to go as far as hammock is concerned. But what if it's going to rain? What do I do over top of it? Okay, and then here's the Ultralite Tarp Kit for ponchos. It has all the same functionality as the regular kit, but it's a lot more compact and considerably lighter. So here's the deal. You still have your 4 tent stakes, and what we've done this time is we've actually connected some super lightweight Dyneema lashet cord, which is 16th inch diameter Dyneema cord. We've attached that to, tied it off to each tent stake. So you have 8 feet of cord on each tent stake. And this stuff, even though it's so tiny, it still has almost the same strength as the parachute cord. 500 pounds test strength on this. So we're virtually the same strength on the cord. We have the same stake. So thus far we haven't compromised really any of our functionality by going to this lighter weight. Now the next thing that we have here is we've got 20 foot hank of this Dyneema cord, and on one end of it we have one of Dutch's fleas. So the fleas allow you to hook around a tree or whatever and then be able to tie this off without having to tie it. It just kind of hooks into place to secure it, so it makes an easy, quick way to adjust the tension. This is to make your Ridgeline. I have 4 Dutch's tarp worms right here, this little guy right here. And we put it up, we actually oversized the shock cord. So we put this on an 1/8 inch shock cord instead of the thinner stuff, because I like to have extra beefy shock cording to provide stress or adjustment in heavier weather. I'm adding to the kit is 2 of these Prusik Loops made out of the same super light Dyneema lashet cord. So now I just use one of the sets of Prusik Loops to secure my Ridgeline. So I can either go to the tree, or I could hang, like right now I'm just hanging to the shuttle sling that's holding my hammock up. I'm doing the way I'm doing now, and not going, to a tree, but going to my suspension line for my hammock. I can just put a toggle here going out to the other Prusik loop, and that keeps tension on my tarp. I'm using actually another Poncho as my tarp here. So now we get into our last two items. We connect this to our tie-out point, and then of course the stake into the ground. So now I'm just going to put this through my shock cord. So that's how that hooks on, just like that. This is the same size poncho as I'm hanging in as a hammock, used as a canopy overhead. So it's like barely there. And it's also the narrowest poncho we have too. Tent stake here. And I pull all the cord out from it like that. Okay, so now if you were actually using a dedicated tarp or a canopy setup, you could just leave this shock cord in the tie-out tabs and not take it out. But if you're using a poncho as your canopy, then you may want to remove that, well, at whatever point you decide to use it as a poncho. You see there's a hole right there in the little tarp worm here. Just shove that through the hole. And now we're going to go out and do our tent stake. Somewhere right in here, wherever it seems to work good. Step on that stake. Now for the fun part. So this is how I'm tensioning it. As I pull on this, you see it stretches the shock cord. So basically what I do is I get to that point and then I just pinch it right there. That holds it. Now what I do is I just turn, you just twist it with your fingers, you turn a loop. So you just go in like that, pull it over and pull it back, and it forms a half hitch that locks around the edges of the tarp worm. So now I'm secured, it's not going to go anywhere. To undo it, this is what's the beauty. To undo it, all I do is pull, and see it pulls that half hitch right off of there. And if I need to retension it or something, see, it's easy enough to do. That's all I got to do. It's done. It won't go anywhere. Okay, so that's very simple, very, very lightweight, very compact, and I can hang even something like a poncho over another poncho that's being my hammock. And I'm good to go. Okay, so I can pop into here. And like I say, this is very low profile, simple little deal. It's an Ultralite Poncho as my hammock. So this thing only weighs about 12 or 13 ounces. The canopy I'm using is the 1.120, and it only weighs about 8 or 9 ounces. The nice thing is this is holding my canopy up off my face, over my head, and even though this is like the smallest, I mean, I'm going same size for same size, so I'm very marginal here. It hangs down well below me. This thing is our hammock is also a poncho, so anything blowing against me is not going to get me wet because this is waterproof. It's a poncho. So I don't worry as much as you would with a regular hammock that's not waterproof, picking up splash from the ground or anything like that. I don't have to worry about that here. So very quick and easy. Here's me a minimalist, very lightweight canopy setup over my. Actually, I could do it over any of our ponchos set up as a hammock, but the hammock happens to also be an ultralight hammock as well. Ultralite Poncho set up as a hammock. This deal right here, for a minimalist deal, very lightweight, very compact, very, very nice. Simple little deal. You can do this with any of our ponchos. Set up as a canopy. Use the Ultralite tarp kit if you want to really go compact and light. Here, if I need to adjust how tight it is, just a tug, and look at that. So look how I can, you see how the shock cord, that's why you got the shock cord hooked to here with the tarp worm right there, because now I can easily slide this up and down however tight I need to be. And when I get to where I want to be, I just like to, it's hard for me to let you see that, I just like to pinch it, and you just take a loop and you hook the loop over the end of that, see over the end of that right there, and then it locks right here in a half hitch around the kind of squared off corners of the tarp worm. It can't go anywhere, but you see I've still got good tensioning that I can do here, and quick to put up, quick to take down, lightweight and compact. Okay, I've got my scale out here. I'm going to change it to grams. So here's a titanium tent stake with the 1/8 inch shock cord, and you can see here 14 grams. Now this might not be exactly a fair comparison because we've got 8 feet of Dyneema cord on here, but as you can see, 14 grams.